the applications.
Gotcha.
So we'll do Russell first.
That's assuming we get some more people.
Yeah,
Yep.
we got two that I know Bill is coming, because I think he's gonna. I kind of suggested that he may be, in the absence of Jen is here, and so the chair. Then we really don't have a vice chair. We really, in the absence of the chair, then we appoint someone to sit in for that particular meeting. So I requested that Bill, be that person, and he graciously accepted. So it's on him.
Yeah, thanks, John. John, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So we're waiting for Richard, right?
No,
Richard's here.
Hi, Bill. I'm here.
Okay, good.
I think that's
I just
four,
didn't
right?
see you on
We
the
have
screen.
we have the four, yeah.
we got four. So Bill, before you get started though, just a couple of things, because it's a little different now. We're all sort of trying to feel our way here with this. So, Marlene is no longer, well, she's with us, but she's been injured. So she's not with us probably until the 1st of September. Who knows, maybe August. But so we don't have a clerk per se. So typically she would read the legals. So, for the meeting, I think we can have maybe Maria, unless she's not up to it, then I certainly can, read the four legals. And then as the applications come up, Bill, if you would just read each one as they come up before the applicants, that would be great.
Okay. Well, since everybody's here, why don't we call the meeting to order? I would like to introduce our members tonight. My name is Bill Piggott. I'm acting as the alternate chair. Joining us is Dennis Grove, Jennifer Gordon, and of course myself, and Marlene is not here as our recording secretary.
You got Rich Gilbert.
And Rich Gilbert, excuse me. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. We normally have 5 members that are seated at each meeting, and tonight we only have 4. So if a regular member is not present or recuses himself from an application, a combination of regular members and alternates will be seated, and tonight totaling 4. 4 votes are needed for an application to be approved in accordance with state statutes, and a simple majority is not sufficient. The clerk or myself will read the call of the meeting as advertised in the publication. After the publications have been read, anyone who wishes to withdraw or postpone his or hers application is free to do so. If there is no one who wishes to withdraw or postpone, we will then forward with the applications in the order in which they have been advertised. The clerk will call the application, at which time the applicant or his or her representative will come forward and state his or her name and address for the record and the nature and reason for the appeal. The applicant representative should stand where he or she can be seen, and all displays can be seen by both the board and audience. Any or all items, plans, or pictures shown to the board are considered exhibits, and all exhibits must be left for the file. After the presentation is made by the applicant, we will entertain questions from members of the board and then certain questions from the audience. We will also, after that discussion has taken place, accept presentations or statements either in favor of or in opposition to the particular application. Please be sure to state your name, address the first time you speak, and your name any subsequent time you speak. When your application has been heard, we will close the public hearing portion of the application, and the board will go into their deliberations with the seated members. You are free to stay here, but as tempting as it might be, that you should not make any further comments, even if you think of something you should have said or wish you had said, but didn't. That would be taken as testimony, and according to statute, we are not permitted to take testimony after the close of the public portion. In most instances, we will make our decision immediately after each hearing. You may stay to hear the result or call the land use office in the morning. You will also be notified by mail, and all decisions are published. I will now read the appeals to be presented tonight. The first one is 8248 41 Hartford Avenue, map 12, lot 62, R4 district. Request to vary Madison zoning regulations, section 3.6D to permit a side yard setback of 7.3 feet where 10 feet is required to replace a closed one-story structure with a carport addition, and to permit existing shed an 8.8 foot side yard setback where 10 is required. Second application, 8248. 8249 113 Island Avenue, map 16, lot 18, R-5 district. Request to vary Madison zoning regulations 3.6A to permit a front yard setback of 10 feet where 25 feet is required for the installation of a generator, and section 3.6B to permit a side yard setback of 9 feet where 12 is required for the installation of a condenser. The last application, hold on. Okay, our last application is 825012 Liberty Street, map 28, lot 143, R-2 district. Request to vary Madison zoning regulation 3.6D to permit a 13.2 inch side yard setback where 20 feet is required to expand a shed dormer. Okay, I've read the applications.
Okay, Bill?
Yep.
No, excuse me, I'm going to, with your permission, I'm going to read the first application that was requested to be the beginning of the hearing to be postponed till next month.
Okay,
I'll just read it quickly.
sure.
Application 8247 plus CSP, 132 Kelsey Place, map 14, lot 4, R4 district. Request to vary Madison regulations section 2.17 to permit 24.6 feet where 50 feet is required to a critical coastal resource for the demolition and reconstruction of a FEMA compliant single family home. The applicant has requested the opening of the hearing to be postponed to the next regular ZBA meeting on August 10th, 2021.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Just wanted to clean that up.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay. We can move forward with the first presentation by the applicant.
Yeah, do we need to take any action to change that in the agenda, John, or is that automatic?
No, that's what I'm at. We just,
It's automatic, all right.
that was first on the agenda and we just,
Okay. All right,
Okay, we can
Go ahead, Bill.
proceed. Okay, thanks. We can proceed forward with the applicant on 41 Hartford Avenue. Who is going to speak or present the appeal?
I'll speak and just say hello. My name's David Knox. I'm the owner of the property. But the architect, Russell Campaign, maybe would be able to explain things better than me.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, I'm Russell Campaign, 131 Boston Street, Guilford, Connecticut, and I will walk you through the request for application. Can I share screen or do you have to do that, Maria?
you can.
Okay. The host has to enable me to do so. Uh-oh.
Where are you? There's Russ. Stop video. Did I make you a host?
It just says host disabled participants screen sharing on my screen. So I'm not sure if that answers any question. Or there's a way to open up my,
Try that.
okay. Yep, there we go. All right. All right. So are you seeing my screen with the photos?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So we have been working with Sarah and David Knox, who have owned this home for quite some time as a summer second home, but are planning to move here full time and are looking to make some improvements to sort of make it more accommodating during the winter months and more comfortable and energy efficient, obviously, when they do stay year round here. There's been some improvements to it, but it sort of sits in the area that we want to focus on. In this photo, you can see there's a one-story, what I think was originally a shed that was enclosed into interior living space that sits in the front corner, the northwest corner of the property, just as you pull in the driveway. And that's the area that we're going to propose to change into a carport. Just to sort of show another view of it, that's the area right here that we're taking off. And we're also taking this tower off and as part of our renovations and replacing this with a carport that's set back a little bit. But let me show you in the site plan. So the lot is an interior lot that's accessed by an easement. It's a non-conforming existing lot that predates zoning. And you come down the shared driveway that actually accesses this property, the property over here, as well as this property in question that we're talking about with the Knoxes. And there's a very limited area for car storage as it sits now. And the existing gray addition that was put onto the property even limits that access even more to be able to store cars and turn around. And so this hatched area is where we're proposing to put the new carport addition. So it would be an open structure that would just have posts down the side and a roof that's a one-story that's set back slightly from the front that allows for one car to pull in and be able to back out and exit and then have an area for storage for one guest car here. And that's just a major deficit of the property and the way that it's set up right now. And the existing nonconformity that we're speaking of is this 7.3 foot setback on the north property line. We're looking to maintain that, but we are changing from a closed addition to an open structure. It's slightly more square footage, but we do gain a little bit of setback as it goes back because of the way the line falls away here. So I do think we have an existing non-conforming condition. I think we're lessening the non-conformity by making an open structure versus a closed structure in the way that it will be presented as a mass. And I think we do have a hardship that's unique to the property, given that it's an interior lot with a very, very tight access point. It's really choked down in this way. And the proposal is a fairly modest one, I think, from a vantage point of actually trying to correct that situation and have some covered storage and covered access into the home with a proposal. The other area that we're looking to put an addition in a conforming location on the property is, if I go back to the photos, there's an existing deck that sits on the back of the property with a fence that sits here. That, after reviewing areas to add on to the home, is really one of the better places to add. And it does have an existing footprint of this deck and an existing fence line that sort of cuts off any views through. So our proposal is to add an addition in place of that deck. Now, the issue is that the deck is low enough so it doesn't currently isn't considered a structure. And so when we put that addition on, it becomes a structure and encroaches closer than 10 feet to the existing shed. So the second half of our request is, because of this addition, the shed becomes part of the principal building by just sort of a technicality in the way that the code is written. We're not proposing any changes other than just sprucing up the shed. We're actually going to clean up some fencing and some other things on the backside here to actually bring it, make it look a little bit better, because there's some junk on this side that's going to get addressed. But basically, this addition that we're proposing, which is in a conforming location, is within 10 feet of the existing shed, therefore increasing the requirement of the setback. And so we're looking to maintain that variance through requesting that 8.8 foot setback of the shed be allowed to be kept forward, even though that it's changing from a principal to from an accessory consideration in the way that it's structured. So I can go through some other drawings here and show you sort of in the elevation. Let me go down what we're doing here. So the way that I've laid these out is there's a little 3D view, and you can see the carport sort of replacing the structure here. And we took off that tower and replaced it with a front entry that comes off of the guest parking area. And the existing one-story shed is staying the same beyond. And then if I go down on the backside, you can see the two-story addition we're putting on in the conforming location is coming within 10 feet of the existing shed. And so therefore that other piece of our request is associated with that, maintaining that existing non-conforming setback for the shed. From a vantage point of the appearance of the building, we're maintaining the shingle siding, the same hipped roof. The new addition is in keeping with that. I think overall, it's a fairly modest request. We're also replacing the septic system, which is currently original to the house or very old. It's a cesspool, so that's getting upgraded. And we're bringing it to energy code compliance. We're replacing foundations and other things in order to sort of bring it into best practice and bring it up to current code requirement. It is not in a FEMA zone. So otherwise, I think it's fairly straightforward. So to summarize, we have an existing non-conforming lot. We have a hardship associated with its access and limitations as to how you could actually have car parking and storage and turnaround on the existing property. And I think we are reducing the non-conformity of the existing situation by opening that porch and having it read as an open porch rather than being a closed living addition. So I'm open to answer any questions. David, if you have anything to add, please weigh in. And I can probably stop sharing unless someone has immediate questions that they want to address in the drawings.
Mr. Campaign, is that how you pronounce your last name?
Yes, it is. Yep, Campaign.
So I saw in the application there was some a little bit of writing about why the garage, you feel it couldn't be placed in the back. So conforming, can you talk to that, please? Sure.
It looks on that there'd be a way to access around the building, but it really is quite tight. There's some large trees in this area that we don't want to disturb, that really do tighten the ability to come around this side of the building and actually have the garage on this side. And they are looking for it to be attached in order to have winter access in the retirement and have a safe entry into the home. So if it were to come on this side, there isn't setback on this side to put a garage attached to the house. It could be a detached garage, but then it really does provide, a very difficult access on a daily basis to get into the living area of the house, which is at this end of the site. So we really did feel that this would solve the issue of having a covered entry and a covered access into the home, in a consolidated way without having to put an attached building on this side. But if you're out on the site, there's quite a bit of existing trees and other things in this area that we'd like to maintain, because it's an interior lot and the living space of this adjacent lot is right here. Those screening elements are pretty important, I think, to the neighborhood, as far as keeping everybody pleased and happy, because it's really two lots here that we would be opening up views to, because there's two frontage lots that have their main living spaces in the back. Does that answer your question to some extent about the logic?
Yeah, thank you. It does. And the other question I had, the shed, which I understand is an accessory because it's the distance from the house presently. So does that have an existing variance?
It does not. I think I don't know what the construction time of that shed was, but in its current status, because it's under the accessory, it's a diagonal line from the property line that measures to the peak of the roof. And the peak of the roof is higher than 8.8 feet. It's probably around 11 feet. So it is existing non-conforming from a vantage point of the current regulations of that diagonal. But when it was put there, likely it was conforming. I don't know when that diagonal line was introduced. It probably was done in the early 2000s when the major zoning changes were made down here, I'm guessing. But so it's currently non-conforming. It should be 11 feet under the regulations for an accessory, because that's the peak height and that's the way that the accessory building is measured. So ironically, it goes down to a 10-foot setback if it's principal building, because it can be higher than that. So in some ways, we're making it more conforming by bringing our addition closer to it and making it part of the principal, which has a smaller setback under those regs. Am I wrong with that, John, with the logic? Or is that?
John, did you hear
No,
that?
that's a reasonable explanation. The magic number is not 10 feet, it's 15 feet separation between the principal building.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And the accessory building. And quite frankly, that accessory building may have been built. Our regulations didn't change until 2010 when we went from the R2 to the 3, 4, and 5. So this was I'm sure was probably in place before that. So it's an existing non-conforming structure. And as it was out there by itself, it's going to stay there for as long as it wants to be there, or as long as the owner wants to keep it there. And so the only implication here is that the complying addition at the rear just happens to be within that 15-foot setback between the two buildings. So it must comply with setbacks as with the principal building. But it's not really any more non-conforming than it was existing. It's just a technicality, really, that because it's closer, the applicant's asking for the relief for the setback for the 1-to-1 and the 8.8. But he's not getting any.
Because it's changing from an accessory to part of the principal dwelling.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
And I will add that the Velos, John and Christine, which are the northern neighbors here, did reach out to me, and I did have some email exchange, gave them some additional information, and then David checked in with them over the weekend, and they said that they were all set. So they were, obviously notified, but they also engaged and did seek out. I gave them a full plan set, and I walked them through it, and so they seem fully satisfied. I think in some respects, moving
I wanted to go
this,
there and look at it. They wanted to go there and just sort of look at the existing and then just sort of chew on the plan. And that was a good way to sort of approach it, and that satisfied them that it was not going to be an eyesore and it was attractive and so forth.
and I think to some extent, our moves of sliding that back actually open up a view corridor for them in the way that we've laid it out. If I quickly share again, where this gray area of the existing is being removed and sort of opening up a view corridor from their location, which is to the north. So I think in general, everybody's been engaged and happy. So I think, from a neighboring point of view, that even though no one's attending the meeting, I think everybody has had their chance to look at it and feel it's comfortable with the proposal.
Any other questions by the board? Okay, since there are none, is there any correspondence that has to be received into the record?
No. There were nothing against the application at all, nothing for it, nothing against it. We didn't receive anything.
Okay. Are there any final comments from the applicant that you would like to make before we go into deliberation?
No, I just introduced my wife, Sarah, as joined
Hi.
us.
Hi. Okay.
All set.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion that we close the public portion of the hearing and move into deliberations.
Okay, so moved.
I got a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay,
So I should leave the meeting.
I'll start with,
No, you can stay in the meeting, but you can't comment during this portion.
right.
But
Right.
it's open to the public as far as you're hearing it.
Okay, very
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'll start with Richard. What are your thoughts, Richard?
There is a little bit of reduction in nonconformities. And I mean, if we look at it as far as Zach's, it's kind of an intensification. I mean, there's already an existing deck. So we're adding an addition there, and the shed becoming, I mean, the shed already exists. It's just becoming part of the principal residence because of the addition where the deck's going to be. So to me, I mean, I could see that as an intensification of an existing nonconformity. So I think it's in harmony with the neighborhood. So I would be in favor.
Okay, thank you. I'll make a comment. The two setbacks, I think 7.3 and 8.8 have not changed. And so in view of that and what Richard has said, I concur. I would vote in favor. Dennis?
John, I think I'd have a question for you. I mean, the application talks only about the one variance, but does not talk about the variance with regards to between the house and the shed. So technically speaking, we would be granting something that would actually have two issues, but one from two different sections, but only one of them is actually referenced. Quite sure.
Question?
I'm not quite sure. The appropriateness of dealing with it when there's an extra variance in there that's not cited. I wish I'd.
Dennis, do you Are you looking at the application? I see,
Yeah, there's two variances there.
Are
yeah,
there-
they're both.
Do I
they're
have the
both-
wrong one open?
Yeah, I think you do. There's,
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry.
okay.
I going under the wrong page. I'm sorry. That's probably what happened. The Hartford Avenue. And then go over here and say Hartford Avenue application. I'm sorry. I was up.
Yeah.
There it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, somehow, well, I got a bunch of tabs open on the window, and I think I left the one from Kelsey Place open and didn't realize it. So I thought I'd closed them all down. Okay. That clears up that question. Okay. Yeah, I think the presentation on the hardships was a little better than the write-up. This just says, well, it'd be a long way to walk, in my retirement if we moved it around to the back. So, so minimum setbacks remains in its existing location. But I'm still troubled by that. The hardship statement. Because the hardship doesn't address the addition and why there's what justifies going to within the 15-foot distance of the shed between the house and the principal building. And it only really provides hardship as a statement of how many steps I'd have to take as far as the carport. So so that's a little challenging for me. I struggle with that. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Dennis, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to commit you one way or another. I didn't see that as a hardship. Whether you got to walk and it's uncovered or not, I don't think that constitutes a hardship. So I basically saw there was, I think, a very small amount of reduction. And also I just, we talked about Zach's. It's basically an intensification of a non-conforming structure. So those were my two reasons. But again, I'm not trying to sway you one way or another. That's how I consider I don't think there really is a hardship, but I think in lieu of that, the Zach's and the minor reduction in nonconformities.
Yeah. Yeah, that the one area is a reduction in the nonconformities, but yet you got the addition going up next to the shed. So I'm just sitting there trying to balance that in my head. And
right. Yeah. I mean, it is, but I guess I didn't, because it's already an existing deck. To me, that's not going to be any additional encroachment, because it's already encroached because of the deck. So to me, that's the way I saw it.
John, do you know what the purpose is of that 15-foot setback?
Yeah, well,
Is that fire department access or anything?
No, just to clarify something, there is no variance required for being within 15 feet. He hasn't triggered a violation by putting the complying addition on the rear, just because before it was 15 feet and a few inches, and now it's 3 feet and a few inches. The only thing that really does, he doesn't need a variance to do that. It just, what it does is it now changes the regulation for what the accessory building is. And the accessory building, if it's within 15 feet, only it becomes part of the principal building only in so much as it has to comply with the principal building setbacks. So that hasn't changed. So the fact that it was more than 15 feet and it's now less than 15 feet doesn't trigger any request for a variance. You can do that by right. It just changes the definition of what that accessory building is. He doesn't need a variance to change the definition of the accessory.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes me feel better about it. Because I empathize and I would like to see it approved, and I would hate to use something like that as a way of saying, sorry, you can't do what you want on your property. But now that you've made me feel good about the regulations, so. Jen?
No,
Anything?
am I on mute? Sorry.
Yeah,
No, I agree. I feel like moving the footprint of the enclosed structure back as you bring it in line with the house, you are becoming more compliant with the setbacks there, with the property boundaries. And then also the footprint of the deck is already there. You're not changing that. The shed was already in place. You're not moving that. So I'm comfortable with the presentation as presented.
Okay. That's all I got. Anybody else?
okay. Well, we need a motion. If there's no other comments, we need a motion to close the deliberation
So
and
So
back to the
I'd like to move that we close the deliberation and turn to the public portion for a vote.
We have a second?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now we're at the portion to vote. So, Richard, how do you vote?
I'll make a motion. How about,
Okay.
I will make a motion to approve variance requested 3.6 for a 7.3 setback and 3.6 for an 8.8 foot setback, and for the work to proceed as outlined in the plan. And the reason is due to basically an intensification and a move toward more conformity, having the open port.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the motion is carried. And thank you.
Thank you, Noxus, and congratulations. Thank you, Russell.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Yeah, you
Thanks.
too.
I'll unmute.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next application is 113 Island Avenue. And who's going to present that, please?
Hi, let me get my video going. Can you hear me? My name is Travis Gulick, Gulick and Company, Renovation Contractors, 45 Wall Street, Madison. On the call with me is Ed. He's the owner at 113 Island Avenue in Madison as well. So I need to share my screen. Maria, I'm disabled.
Choice of Zoom.
I am the host now. Where am I going first? Proposed survey. The survey here, as you can see, 113 Island Avenue is on the corner right across from the Madison Beach Club, a corner of Island Avenue and Prospect Street. We came probably a year ago, came for variance to raise it higher than we're allowed to due to the flood zone. because we know the flood levels are rising. And since a couple days ago, there was a foot of water on Island Avenue all the way up to Middle Beach Road, the corner of Prospect and Middle Beach. However, we raised the house to the proposed 14 feet, as well as the garage to the 14 feet as well. As you can see on this proposed survey, just showing you the building setback lines, and since it's on a corner lot, we have 25 feet front yards in 2 different locations. So that's on the Prospect Street side and the Island Avenue side. This right here is a 20-foot line, as you can see here. That's for a front porch, so you can ignore that. So really, this location, if you follow my cursor, is the building, or no, sorry, I did it again. This is the building area that you would allow to on this property due to the regulations. So not much room to do really anything with. Well, we renovated the house, we raised the house, we're currently under renovation, raised the house, didn't add anything onto it. However, we need locations for generator and air conditioning. Generator just showed from a couple days ago with the flooding and how far it came up and losing power. This is the front of the house. I don't know if you guys have seen the house. It's in a prominent location. It's coming along very nicely. Let me stop sharing this one. I'll bring up the locations. This is the side yard. This is the side yard. This is the property stake line. Just kind of showing you this is the south side of the house. As you can see the beach club across the street, you can see 115 Island Avenue right here. And you can see this is about 12 feet off the property line. And also you see the neighbors as well, how close they are to the property line with their condensers as well. Their condensers are right there. They've been there for a long time. It's never an issue. And it is no issue, but just kind of showing you the location of that. Shared on the plan. This is the backyard, just kind of showing you how this is a pre-raised photo. The construction's kind of all over the place, so I wasn't going to share that. But that tree still exists. Just the house and the garage are lifted, but the grade remains the same. We're not raising the grade or anything like that, which stays around the elevation 11. So just kind of showing you not much backyard, and that's where the building setback is. It comes right into this area. That one. The first one is the condenser location. We are looking to put the condenser location on the south side, within the building setback on the south side within that 12 feet. This is right across from the 115 Island Avenue's condensers. They are farther away from the property line than the neighbors, but we're just trying to stay consistent, putting it on that south side. That way it keeps the noise of the condenser or of the condensers all the same. So many different. I need to get like Russ and be able to PDF everything together. Where'd it go?
Travis, while you're doing that, I'll just add that we talked to our neighbors at 115, and they're very supportive of us putting the condensers in that location. The logic made sense to them, and we got a written statement from them if that's helpful. We wanted to make sure they were comfortable with our plans. We've been talking to them throughout the whole project, and they're lovely. And we, of course, just consulted them with this, and they're very supportive.
When he's talking about that, that's what I was going up next.
Can I just ask a quick question on that?
Sure.
The person that spoke, you've got a name tag on there that says Edward Palmieri,
Yes,
But-
sir.
but the application is in the name of Chris Shriver.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, that's my husband.
Okay, all right, okay. I just wanted to find what the relationship is.
Sorry
Thank
about
you.
that.
Thank you. He's with our twins tonight.
That's all
so
right, thank you.
I drew the straw.
This is the letter, the email from 115 Island Avenue. I will submit this as a document to Maria after this, just stating them saying they have no problem with the generators and the HVAC units in their locations. And Ed did talk to the neighbor up at 9 Prospect Street. Correct me if I'm wrong on that address, Ed. And they didn't write anything, but they were all fine with the location. So they did talk to the neighbors during that.
Correct. Yep.
And for some reason, that wasn't up. There it is. And this is the location we are looking for. On the bottom, the red block, 6 foot long, 1 foot off the house, 2 feet wide. That's 2 feet wide. Each unit is about 2 by 3. So the whole thing that's for the condensers. On the top, that is the generator location, about 2 feet off the house, 5 feet off the corner, and then it's about 4 feet long. So it is about 10 feet off the property line. One aspect with the generator, that's the biggest hurdle, because with all the codes, you have to have the generator more than 5 feet away from an operable window. That's an operable window, and there's not really much location on this property where there is not an operable window. We would have to make a window stationary and sealed. And it just, being down the water, you want all those windows open as you can, trying to bring everything in. But on this north side, it's the perfect location for the generator.
Okay, Travis, did you say the window is, which wall is the window on?
There's a window right here on this
Right
side.
there, okay.
Correct. Yep. So we would be
Not where the 2 foot.
No. I'll show you actually that side.
Okay.
Here it is. This is that side general location. Just an
Yeah.
FYI, these windows down here were not installed. So those are not operable.
Got it.
That's
Okay.
just the foundation. And these windows right here, these are non-operable fixed windows as well. So there's
Okay.
one window right around this. This is a bump out. Or
Yep.
bump in.
Yep.
There's one window right around this corner. That's where a window is, which will be plenty far away from that because it's going to be on an angle as well.
Okay, thank you.
So really, in the grand scheme of things, there is, as you saw from the building setbacks, there is no room in the generators, and the condensers have to be within the building setbacks. With the minimal backyard that they have, with the building setbacks that are put on them, there is no location to put these items. And then along with the generator, they're, have to be 5 feet away from the windows. We could put it towards the front of the house in one location. However, that doesn't make any sense why we'd be going all the way towards the front of the house. We're trying to keep everything in the back, as well as bring up that one generator image. There is a wall here. There's a wall, and this is a gate that you're going to be able to go in, and this is actually going to be a taller gate with shrubs right on the other side. So the generator really won't be seen much from the roadside, and we're going to be trying to hide it as much as possible. Ed, do you have anything to add?
No, I think that was great. Thank you for the overview, Travis. Happy to answer questions, of course.
Okay. I don't have any questions. Anybody got anything?
Mr. Gula, can you pull up a picture of the backyard and just show us why they can't go there?
So for the generators, we have windows here on the plans. There's this cottage has multiple windows here. It's just the biggest aspect is the backyard is very tiny between the houses. And if the only spot we were able to do, this is the picture of the backyard. I'll bring up the other one, the survey. I scrolled. So this would be the only pretty much space right here where we could put the condensers. And when you do that, you have to be foot off the house. You have to be projecting into the yard. And then it's, all right, well, how do you landscape it? How do you hide it? Well, all right, we need to do a fence, but now it needs to be a lattice fence because you need the airflow. So you have to go a little bit further away. To do any bushes or anything like that, you're going to be adding 2 to 3 feet in front of that, the condensers. So if you have the condensers are here, they're already coming about 3.5 feet out. So then you have another couple feet in front of that for fencing, landscaping. And so as you can see, you're pretty much in your backyard and you're taking up your whole backyard where if we were able to put it back here, that's not a problem, but this is the only location, and just tucking around this corner right here seemed like the most logical explanation, as well as 115 having the condensers on that side, and we have 12 feet toward that side.
Okay, and let's address, you've got the word garage there. That has been converted to living space, right?
Correct, yes. Yep.
And we discussed that 2 years ago when you wanted to change this, that was within your right to make that change, if I remember correctly.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, garage is floor area, just doesn't matter if it's finished.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why you can't put it near there, is because of the windows on it.
Correct, there's windows they're right here.
Mm-hmm.
That way we're able to get that western sun in there.
Okay.
Any other discussions by the board? Okay,
John, you got anything?
John?
Yeah, at this point, I think he's laid it out the way he feels it needs to be laid out in order for the applicants to have what they desire. I think the board has to consider, and I'm sure you'll get into this in the deliberation, exactly what a legal hardship is here, and discuss whether or not there are reasonable, prudent optional locations for these units. I might just tell you that, the window in the garage, he's got it within 5 feet of the windows and the condenser on the house because they're fixed windows. There's no reason why the window in the garage couldn't be fixed. If you have to rough up some of the patio, then, you rough it up, you redesign it, and you reconfigure the landscaping, to mask it, if you will. So I do think that there's reasonable alternative locations that will comply for both appliances.
One aspect I will bring back as well is the flood zone. So the condensers will have to be raised. So it will be on a platform in a kind of a prominent spot in that backyard. So it's not going to be easy to hide. That's really in the biggest thing. And that, John just laid it out. It's really the property line is with the two front yards. It just really kills us. If this was on another property, we would have 12 feet on the other side of the house. We would have plenty of room. We would tuck it around the corner. This wouldn't be an issue. It's really, when it comes down to it, that 2 front yards at 25 feet from the front island and prospect really limits our availability. And that's really, the biggest hardship on that.
Any further discussions? Any final comments from the applicant?
I am all set. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
I'd like to move that we close the public portion of this hearing and move into deliberations.
Somebody want to second that?
Yep, I will second that.
Thanks, Rich. Okay, who wants to talk first?
I understand what John's saying about alternate locations. I also recognize I was down there 2 years ago when we were there. That's a very tiny property. And, basically, I think the picture that they showed of the backyard, it was basically sitting area, and put that thing right in the middle of sitting area is the only other place. And I don't know, I struggle to see that as a viable alternative, is to take up all that seating area. Yes, conceivably you could change the window so that it, on the garage living space, such that it's not it's not operable, so that it would be fixed. But I suspect they have I don't think forcing somebody to change their windows, so that they don't have windows that open. That it's like an industrial building. Some windows that are fixed are okay, but I don't know. You don't have any. You're losing something.
Okay. My comments are, when I first read this application, I really didn't see a hardship here. And you have to really I think you really got to take that into consideration. And I know it would be hard to reconfigure something in the backyard to make it aesthetically pleasing, but it still remains that I don't really see a hardship. So that's what I question.
Rich, Jen?
Rich?
Do you want to go, or you want me to go? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very good case was put out again, but I'm struggling with finding a hardship, Bill. So I tend to agree with your point of view.
Okay. All right, who do we have left? It's Jennifer. Excuse me. Sorry, Jennifer.
That's okay. I do think that this property having 2 front yard setbacks to deal with is definitely a unique situation that is a challenge for them to work around in finding their alternate locations. But again, as you guys have pointed out with the generator, it's hard to say that there's not an alternate location. There could be alternate locations, but then you're decreasing some outdoor living spaces as well. This one's definitely a challenge.
Any other comments or deliberations? Somebody want to make a motion to close the deliberations and back to the public hearing?
I move that we close the deliberations and return to the public portion for a final vote.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. Now we're at the point of taking a vote, and I'll start off by saying, like I said before, I really don't see the hardship here, and I think even though it's going to be difficult with making the changes in the backyard, my vote would be no.
Okay, well, before you do that, we have to know what we're voting on. So why don't I make a motion that we,
Okay.
I'll make the motion that we approve the application 8249 on 113 Island Avenue, map 16 lot 18 R5 district, request to vary Madison zoning regulations, section 368 to permit front yard setback of 10 feet, where 25 feet is required for the installation of a generator, in section 36B, to permit a side yard setback of 9 feet where 12 feet is required for installation of a condenser.
Dennis, what's the reason? Sorry, what's the justification?
I'm
Motion.
based on the hardship of the small lot and the limited locations where the appliances can be set. So I need someone to second that, and then we can discuss it again and vote on it.
We're not. We've
I'll
already
second.
discussed it.
Okay. Okay, Mr.
If
Chairman.
you would like to start the vote.
Well, does anybody want to discuss it or not? We've already
I
discussed
think,
it.
I think you
What-
just said
No,
all in,
If you want to
it's
just call
just-
for a vote, call for a vote.
yeah, it's all in favor and all opposed.
Yeah, that's all you
Yeah,
do.
yeah, you have a motion on the table, Bill.
Yes,
The motion is to approve it. So now you need to just take a vote, yay or nay.
all right, I'm going to vote,
Why don't we take it, ask all in favor type thing?
No, you can vote individually.
Right.
let's do it individually.
You can do that, Bill.
Yeah, I'm going to vote no.
Yeah, I'm,
Okay. I'll vote yes.
I vote yes.
Okay, we have what, 2 yeses and 2 nos?
Yeah, that's not four. That's
Motion
not
doesn't
4
carry.
yeses. Okay,
So I guess the motion is denied then, or the application is,
Yeah. The motion doesn't carry
right,
and the request is denied.
okay.
Oh,
Well, you have to say it, not me.
Okay, somebody want to say that, please?
I think the chair would say that.
Okay, the motion is denied, and if the vote was 4-2. 4-2 deny it,
It's 2-2.
or 2-2, excuse me.
Well, Bill?
Yes,
There's a correction here. The motion wasn't denied, right?
all right,
The motion didn't carry and the application was denied. I mean, that's the way I saw it.
yes,
That's correct.
yeah, so the application was denied, and the final vote was 2-2. Thank you. I'm new at this, people, so hang in there. Okay, I guess that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gluck. Mr. Palmieri.
thank you, Dennis and Jennifer.
I'm staying. You get to see me again.
Okay.
Okay. The next application is, wait a minute. Is 12 Liberty Street. So I guess you're going to present the application.
Yes, sir. Travis Gulick and Company. Gulick Company Renovation Contractors, 45 Wall Street in Madison. I'm presenting 12 Liberty Street. We are looking to put an extended dormer that is currently on the house at 12 Liberty Street. 12 Liberty Street is an older house. It's right at the first house on Liberty Street from downtown area. It sits on a pretty good size lot. However, the house is nice, so tucked away into the corner of a property. I'll share the survey to show you that. So this is the property. It's quite a large property. It's a little over an acre. However, back in this little corner of the property sits the house, and that is our issue. I'll zoom in. This is the house. It's 11.2 feet off the property line. The setback is 20. Goes right through the middle of the house and doesn't allow you to do much. The driveway comes off of this side. There's a garage underneath where my cursor is. That's a garage. Driveway comes up, goes up the hill and to Liberty Street. This is a big hill if you've seen the space, if you take a drive by. Back here are wetlands, but we're plenty of distance far off of that. I will share another. I was just kind of going around on Google Maps the other day, and I figured I'd share this screenshot of just kind of shows you how close it is to the property line, how much you can do. We are looking to. This is the house, just to pop your mind onto it. You can see the tree line over here. That is 11.2 feet off the property line. And bring up the as-built. This is the south side. The property line is over here. The east side of the property line. This is the west. Liberty Street is on the north. This is current. The current state. This is a little small dormer that exists right here. This is a 3D rendering of it, of existing. Nice little dormer. Really doesn't utilize all of this second floor space. So it's a very small second floor, 2 bedrooms and a little hallway. That's really it. We're looking to expand and put a 3rd bedroom up on that floor, as well as a full bathroom. We're taking a bedroom from the 1st floor, converting that into an open living space and putting the bedroom up on the 3rd floor. This is looking from the west. This is our proposed. This is the dormer. You can see how it comes all the way out. Not all the way out to the edge, but comes out pretty far. This one as well. This shows it from the back. This is the south side. Really just want to keep some definition with the roof lines. We don't want to bring it all the way out to the exterior roof line, just because then it's kind of looks like a big, tall structure. We want to kind of keep some definition. We're not coming all the way to the edge. We're, like I said, trying to keep these roof lines very nice. This is kind of just shows you the second floor. Currently, it's just 2 bedrooms, and then this little loft, this little hallway with the dormer. We're looking to bring it all the way out of bathroom, out of bed, out of the bedroom. That way, it's actually usable second floor for the client. Bring it back to the property line, just showing how close it is to the property line. Talk to the neighbors, Mandy, directly to the east, and they are all for the project as well. This is existing. That's the proposed. Just expanding the dormer just a little bit.
Travis, let me back up on that.
Sure.
I'm not quite sure the expansion. Show me again the 2 views before and after.
Sure.
Okay.
Nope, not that one, this one. So this is proposed.
Yeah, so that's basically, the way I'm looking at that, it's just wider.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the dormer gets a little wider and gets a little bit closer to this.
Moves a
edge
little
back here.
closer. Okay.
Yep. So
Yes, it does. Okay, it goes down to where that lower window is there. That's
correct. Yep.
Okay. All right.
It
I see that.
it is going to be an office on that second floor. We are keeping the bedroom, but client just reminded me of that. But it's just to get more space. And as you can see with the property line, the property is over an acre. We have plenty of floor area, plenty of coverage. And to do anything else to this building, we would have to do quite an extensive project over this area, which is currently their driveway. It's a big hill. Any addition is going to have to come out this way, and it's they're not looking to make this a massive house. They're just trying to add a little bit more second floor room.
Okay.
This is existing. That's from the south. This is the proposed. Yep. That's looking from the west. So that you could see the driveway and the garage door right underneath the house.
Mhm. And that's on the south side?
That the garage is on the west side.
Right, I'm sorry, but yeah, this thing faces the south side, okay.
The addition, the dormer is on the south side, correct?
Okay,
I think I have another one where another drawing where I have the sketch on there. I don't know why that's not up. Yeah, so this is, I'll show this one here. So this is that 13.2. So that red hash mark is the site plan with the dormer expanding.
okay.
So the current house set back without the dormer, like it shows, is 11.2 feet, correct? Back.
The dormer is no, the house is 11.2 off the.
Yes. Well, that's what I meant.
The house is 11. The proposed dormer is 13.2.
Right.
feet.
So
Correct.
it's further back. Yeah.
Correct.
It's
Yeah,
further
not
back
coming-
by 2 feet. Yeah.
Correct. So I'm not coming to the
Yeah.
edge of the house. Correct.
Oh,
Yep. And that's what
okay.
you can see that right here.
Yeah.
The
That's
house is 11.2, but the dormer is set back.
yeah. Good.
Okay,
Any other comments?
I don't have anything, Bill.
No further questions by the board?
and if you were to try to get that same extra square footage elsewhere, what type of cost differential would there be between adding a dormer or putting something elsewhere?
Exponential. And you have to do a whole foundation, the site work, the driveway changes. It's really the only where you can add it is on that west side within the building setbacks, which then goes over their driveway, over their deck. You'd have to take down the deck. So it would be a major construction project, while this is just really expanding taking off the back half of the roof and just reframing that and, running some plumbing and putting a bathroom and office up there.
I think that's a pertinent input to the hardship.
Yes, yeah, it would be an extensive construction project to add any more square footage anywhere else. And this is not adding, they're not looking to add a ton more. This is just some more floor area on the second floor.
Yeah. Okay, that's all the questions I've got. Anybody else?
I'm good, Bill.
Okay. Is there any correspondence that we have to read into the record?
Not that I have, no.
Okay. Any final comments from the applicant?
No, sir. I think I've
Okay.
expressed everything. You don't have any questions for me about the survey or elevations or anything, right? Sounds good.
All right, I need a motion if we agree to close the public portion of the hearing, and we can go into deliberations. Somebody want to make a motion?
Okay, I move that we close the public portion of this hearing and move into deliberations.
I'll second that.
Okay, who would like to go first?
I'll go, Bill, I guess. So I don't see a hardship, but, according to Zach's law, I mean, that Zach's case, I mean, to me, this looks like it's just an intensification of an existing nonconformity. They're not changing the nature of the house. They're not changing the neighborhood or anything. And it seems pretty modest. And given that we do have discretion to approved. So I would be in favor based on, it's basically an intensification of an existing nonconformity, and it meets the criteria under the Zach's case.
Okay, thank you. Dennis?
Yeah. I think it would be a justifiable statement of hardship to say, hey, I've got this building, I'd like to get more square footage on my property. The only way I can do it affordably is to do this. And that seems a bit of a hardship, but once again, I think to Rich's point, the idea of Zach's case says that the extension of the existing system is probably rationale itself.
Okay, Jennifer?
I agree with that. With the whole house being non-conforming in terms of boundary setbacks, this seems like a very modest request and an intensification of what's already present. So it does not seem unreasonable to me.
Okay, my comments, I would agree. I think the application is not egregious, and it's a responsible intensification of a structure under the Zach's principle. So if somebody would like to make a motion or
We got to go back to, right.
to grant the variance.
We got to go back to public, Bill.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem.
At this point, we have to go back to public. So do we have a motion for that? Somebody say yes.
I move that we close the public or the deliberations and move back to the public portion for a vote.
I'll second that.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to either grant or not grant the?
Sure. So I would like to make a motion that we approve application 8250 to vary Madison zoning regulation 3.6D to permit a 13.2 side yard setback where 20 feet is required. And the reasoning is we don't see a hardship, but we see an intensification of an existing nonconformity, and the application meets the requirements set forth in the Zach's case, and that the work will proceed exactly as outlined in the plan submitted.
Second.
All right. Now, at this point, I guess we'll vote. I'll start first. I vote in favor.
Favor.
I vote in favor.
Yep, I'm in favor as well.
Okay, it's 4-0, and the motion has passed, and the variance has been granted.
Richard made the motion. Who seconded the motion?
I did, Dennis.
Okay.
I was on mute. Thank you very much. Sorry, I forgot I was on mute. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay,
Okay. So I guess what's left is we have to vote on the minutes of our last meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the June, 10th meeting.
Yeah.
I will second that.
Okay, the June
June 8th.
minutes have been approved.
We need a vote.
I'm sorry.
We vote
Oh, yeah.
June 8th. I'd like to modify it to say June 8th.
Okay, June 8th.
I'll
All those in
second.
favor? Aye.
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 Okay, I guess that's the end of our hearing. And thank you very much for all coming and putting up with my first try at this.
Hey, you did okay.
You did very well.
Good job.
Did great, Bill.
Yeah,
Good job.
thank you.
Good job to all of you, actually.
Huh? Excuse me?
It was a good job for all of you.
Yeah, yes, it was. Yes, it was. Okay, we'll see you next month.
Thanks.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Okay, good night,
Bye.
everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Maria.
See you tomorrow.